Welcome to my economic class. Ordinal utility analysis. This method was developed by John Hicks. Ordinal utility analysis states that consumer does not measure the utility numbers, but he ranks various consumption bundles. In the cardinal utility analysis, we can measure the utility in terms of numbers like 1, 2, 3. One apple gives 10 utils. 2 apples gives 12 utils, like that. But in the ordinal utility analysis, we rank our preferences. Like we prefer ice cream over milkshake. We prefer tea rather than coffee. And again we prefer Pepsi rather than Coke, like that. To study the consumer behavior in the ordinal utility analysis, we uses the tools like indifference curve. Indifference curve is the graphical representation showing various combination of two goods X and Y that provide the consumer the same level of satisfaction or the same level of utility. We can study the indifference curve in detail. This table shows the different combination of two goods, apple and mango, that preferred by the consumer. First combination is A. He prefers 1 apple and 15 mangoes. Second combination B. He prefers 2 apples and 12 mangoes. And third combination C. He prefers 3 apples and 10 mangoes. And fourth combination D. He prefers 4 apples and 9 mangoes. All these combinations A, B, C, D gives him the same level of satisfaction or utility. Going from point A to B, he sacrifices 3 mangoes, that is 15 minus 12, for 1 apple. Then from point B to C, he sacrifices 2 mangoes, for example 12 minus 10, for 1 apple. And point C to point D, he sacrifices 1 mango, 10 minus 9, and for 1 apple. Consumer sacrifices smaller and smaller quantities of mangoes for each additional apple. How to draw an indifference curve? First, to draw the x-axis. It measures the quantity of apples, X. Then draw the y-axis. It measures the quantity of mangoes, Y. Then combination A, 1 apple and 15 mangoes. Then combination B, 2 apples and 12 mangoes. Combination C, 3 apples and 10 mangoes. Combination D, 4 apples and 9 mangoes. Join all these points, we will get an indifference curve. All the combination will give him the same level of satisfaction. Marginal rate of substitution. It is the rate at which the consumer will substitute one good for another so that her total utility or total satisfaction remains constant. In the above example, when we increase the quantity of apples, the quantity of mangoes sacrificed for apples declines. MRS declines with increase in the number of apples. So there is a tendency for the MRS to fall with increase in the quantity of one good. This is known as the law of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. With an increase in the quantity of one good, the marginal rate of substitution has the tendency to fall. How to find marginal rate of substitution? MRS is equal to modulus of delta y by delta x is equal to the modulus of change in the quantity of y, here mangoes, divided by change in the quantity of x, here apples. At combination B, the change in the quantity of mangoes is equal to 15 minus 12 is equal to 3. Then change in the quantity of apples is equal to 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. So MRS is equal to 3 by 1 or 3:1. Indifference curve for perfect substitutes. Perfect substitute are the goods which can be used in place of each other that provide exactly the same level of utility or satisfaction. Best example is tea or coffee. When we draw the indifference curve for the perfect substitute, we will get a straight line curve with negative slope. This is because of the constant marginal rate of substitution. MRS remain same at all the points, which means consumer is willing to exchange one good for another at a fixed rate. For example, 1 glass of Pepsi with 1 glass of Coke. Indifference curve for perfect substitute. First to draw the x-axis, it measures the good x, here Pepsi. Then draw the y-axis. It measures the quantity of y, here Coke. Then combination A, 1 glass of Pepsi and 8 glasses of Coke. Combination B, 2 glasses of Pepsi and 7 glasses of Coke. Combination C, 3 glasses of Pepsi and 6 glasses of Coke. Then combination D, 4 glasses of Pepsi and 5 glasses of Coke. Join all these points, we will get the difference curve for the perfect substitute. It is a straight line, downward sloping curve, and MRS at all the points remain same. All the points give him the same level of satisfaction. Indifference map. Family of indifference curves is known as indifference map. It shows the consumer's preferences over all the bundles. The bundles on the higher indifference curves are preferred by the consumer rather than the bundles on the lower indifference curve. This is known as the monotonicity of the preferences, which means that the bundles on the one which lies above are preferred to the bundles on the one which lies below, which means the higher indifference curve are preferred by the consumer rather than the lower indifference curves. Features of indifference curve. The first feature is it is a downward sloping curve because of the willingness to exchange one good for another that give him the same level of satisfaction. Second feature is it is convex because of the law of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Consumer is willing to give up more of one good to get an additional unit of another good when they have lot of first good and less of second good, as in the case of apples and mangoes. Then two indifference curves do not intersect. Indifference curves that are farther from the origin, that means higher indifference curves, represent higher level of utility. In this figure, consumer prefers the combination on higher indifference curve IC3 rather than the combination on lower indifference curve IC1 or IC2. That means he prefers the combination C rather than combination A or B. C gives him 10 mangoes and 6 apples rather than combination A and B.